I grew up during the Fruitiger era, the smooth bubbly Windows XP optimism. Everything was soft gradients, clean glass buttons, and ads with smiling kids rollerblading through cyberspace. There was this unspoken promise baked into everything back then. The future is going to be amazing, and all you have to do is keep upgrading. New phone, new console, new operating system, each one sold with the idea that things were only getting better. Better tech, better games, better lives. We didn't realize it at the time, but we were being marketed a dream of endless progress, of creativity and freedom and fun, as long as we kept buying in. And yeah, some of that future did come true. But what we didn't see, what we weren't supposed to see, is that behind all those sleek animations and startup sounds was a system quietly shifting from giving us the future to owning it. And that's how we got here, where gaming doesn't feel like freedom anymore. It feels like property, where companies don't compete with ideas, they threaten to sue them out of existence. And somehow, the same corporations that used to sell us magic are now charging us $80 to rent the idea of fun. And that is only the beginning. You see, somewhere along the line, the dream shifted. We stopped being the audience and started being the product. Games became content. Updates became seasons. And instead of giving us something new to explore, developers started selling us the illusion of progress, wrapped up in a $20 skin and a 45-day battle pass. It's not that games inherently got worse, it's just that they stopped being ours. And nothing makes that clearer than what's happening right now with Nintendo and Palworld. Because what happens next is going to change everything. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend Palworld is some artistic masterpiece. It's literally Pokemon with guns. Sure, it's a lot of fun, but it's mostly AI-coded side quests, and the whole thing feels kind of like it was built in a content lab. But that's not really the point, is it? The point is this. It exists. It tried something different. It pushed boundaries. It broke a few unspoken rules. And Nintendo, the same company that once set the rules for creative games, is now trying to erase it from the face of the earth. And you have to ask yourself, why? Is it about money? Of course it's about money, and it's definitely not because it's a threat to players, but the real thing is it's a threat to control. And here's the kicker, Nintendo's own Pokemon franchise didn't just appear out of nowhere. It drew heavy inspiration from older monster taming games, most notably Dragon Quest V, which introduced monster recruitment mechanics back in 1992. I mean, hell, even Pokemon's trading system was directly influenced by Dragon Quest II. Nintendo built their empire off the backs of the same kind of inspiration they are now trying to stomp out. That's not defending artistic integrity or defending an IP. That's straight up corporate hypocrisy. Nintendo isn't defending the soul of Pokemon, they're defending the exclusivity of monetizing it. They don't want to protect the genre, they want to own it. And if they win, that becomes the new standard. Ideas aren't allowed to grow unless they're pre-approved by shareholders. The future of gaming becomes one giant copyright claim. And the thing is, it won't even feel like a collapse. It'll feel normal, clean, organized, like when they put up security cameras and called it community safety, or when streaming killed piracy and we all applauded, until we had to subscribe to 12 different platforms to watch one show. That's the real trick with dystopias. They don't show up with tanks and uniforms. They slide in quietly, through terms of service, through digital storefronts, and through updates that improve your experience. Gaming has always been a mirror for the culture around it, and right now, it's reflecting a society where everything is for sale, and nothing belongs to us anymore. We used to mod games, now we get banned for altering textures. We used to discover glitches, now they sell them back as limited time mechanics. We used to explore, now we're guided, managed, monetized. And it's not just Nintendo. They might be one of the more obvious villains right now, but they are far from the only ones building the walls, because while they're out here copy striking indie games and pushing lawsuits, they're also laying the groundwork for the next big move, charging you more for less. I mean, we're already paying $70 for most AAA titles. Now companies are pushing for $80 like it's just the next natural step to take. Oh, sorry, we added HDR and half a cutscene. That'll be $10 more. And people will still justify it. They'll say, well, games are more expensive to make now. But when I pay $80, I expect a finished, polished product, not a glorified beta with a roadmap taped to it. That's the part that really stings. The price went up, and somehow the games still feel unfinished. More bugs, more missing content, more recycled mechanics. But hey, at least there's a skin for your horse this time. And before anyone jumps into the comments with, well, I only play indie games. Good. Seriously, same, especially these days. But even that's getting harder and harder to rely on, because now everything is early access. Every game feels like a gamble. Will it get finished? Will the devs burn out? Will it disappear in 6 months because they ran out of funding? The dream of the indie developer is still very much alive, but it's being held together with duct tape, Steam reviews, and the hope that someone, somewhere, will actually finish what they started. We're not buying games anymore. We're investing in potential. And that's fine if it's one game. Hell, 2 games every once in a while. But when every game is starting to ask for faith up front, that's not a market. That's a cult, and we're all already a part of it. And here's the real kicker. The reason nothing ever changes, it's not just the corporation's fault, it's the people that defend these corporations, like their lives depend on it. Because for some of them, it kind of does. It's not I enjoy Nintendo games, it's I am a Nintendo fan. It's Sony is my brand. They've turned it into this us versus them identity war, not just between companies, but between people. Because if someone attacks the brand, it feels like a personal attack on you. And that's the trap. When your whole online presence, your job, your self-worth is tied to the industry, you'll do anything to protect it. You'll defend $80 price tags. You'll justify unfinished games. You'll attack anyone who criticizes it, not because they're wrong, but because deep down, you're afraid they might be right. And while the rest of us are trying to raise our voices, trying to point out what's broken and demand something better, we get astroturfed into the ground by people who think this is as good as it gets or ever will get. People who have been convinced by their corporate overlords that the corporations are doing and have done all that they possibly can. That innovation is dead. That the only path forward is more sequels, more remakes, more of the same. Because risk? That's been taken off the table. Creative vision? Way too expensive. So now we're just rerunning nostalgia loops until we rot. And the executives love it. Because as long as we're too busy fighting each other over which trillion-dollar company we've sworn allegiance to, we're never going to turn around and ask the only question that matters. What the hell happened to progress? Look, I don't want to come off as some kind of doomer. I don't think gaming is dead. I think it's been hijacked by executives who don't play games, don't care about games, and see every player as nothing more than an active user with monetization potential. But it doesn't have to stay like this. We just have to stop pretending we're powerless. Stop defending companies that wouldn't flinch if we disappeared tomorrow. Stop mistaking nostalgia for progress. Stop buying slop and calling it a feast. Because the only way this changes is if enough people finally wake up and realize that the future we were promised, the one full of creativity, community, and joy, is still possible. It's just not going to come from the people selling it.